Hello, and welcome to Endurance AFK build for Stonewood Storm Shield Homebase. So we're building trap tunnels for the Homebase. It's for Endurance mainly, so we're assuming you've got the B amplifier down and the A amplifier down. So you're not going to get any spawn that way, not going to get any spawn that way. You're only going to have the east direction to deal with. And what we're going to do, because basically they spawn around this bottom area down here, all we're going to do is just make a massive tunnel area down here. So what we're going to do is build a massive tunnel area all the way down here to the home base that utilizes a whole bunch of traps. So at the sides we're going to go a bit wider, because what we're going to do is use wall darts plus dynamo traps, and that way we can get extra damage. So if you put a wall here, across there, and then here as well, we're effectively leaving this box here open. We can place floors here though, and then ceilings as well. What we're doing here is utilizing this space to get broadside traps to bounce cannons across these, these areas here. And then once we go in here, we'll be utilizing wall darts all the way down. And then on this bit, if we place low walls, we can get wall dynamo traps all the way down, just for that huge damage. And then if we place ceilings here as well, all the way across, once again, fill in the whole area in here. Obviously we don't need floors here, so we can save the structures in this bit because they're not going to be walking on that bit. But the ceiling's important because, one, we don't want like flingers and stuff to be able to lob enemies into there or on there or however it may be. But also we can put ceiling electric fields here, and these will zap the enemies as they come down, as well as in the middle we can do huge damage. So now that we've got this bit set up, this is, the core trap tunnels. This is where we're doing the most damage. We need to block off some of the remaining areas. So they're going to want to come up here. So we need to block this area starting down here. If we do this, and then if I get my cone edited in an angled way, we can then place it like so. Right, I want to explain the reasoning behind this shape instead of, for example, just doing like this. So with this design, if they break one of these front walls, they then just go straight forward or, round, however it may be. But with this design, if they break one of the front walls, it can't just go to the side, so it can't go into that area. It has to break this one, it can't just go left round it. It basically gives it more structure behind it, and means that the enemies cannot just immediately get through. Now, you could angle them to the right if you want. The reason I'm doing to the left is because it's generally just away from the storm shield, and, we want to basically stop that. Then afterwards, we want to add above to stop the enemies from wanting to come up here. Then, once we're at this point, we want to build all the way across here, and get our cones once again. The one on the left isn't overly necessary because, we're not going to be expecting enemies to be in this corner. You can probably just leave it like that, actually, because they're not going to make it through there. Save yourself a bit of structure. I'd probably just put the walls here, just because if there isn't, they might break through this bit and then want to just sort of creep round. So I'd leave the side there, then cover the back once again. Do the same thing with probably the final layer here. This should be, far enough back. Cover everything, just making sure you are putting the vertical ones here as well as the horizontal ones. So making sure we get sort of this grid pattern here. And at this point, that's probably enough to stop them. If you really want, you can put an extra layer behind. But that should be plenty enough to stop them from coming up there. Once we're around here, we can do a similar sort of thing up here. So we can add another layer here. We bring this across, put our cones in, get it built at the side. And this bit, what we're going to do here is actually build the... Whoa, I can't see what I'm doing. We build this one that way to stop it from wanting to break in towards the home base. And that should cover everything there. You probably... It's always a question of whether they're going to squeeze through there. You can put walls behind and to the side. just to ensure they can't break through anywhere. And that covers the blockage for that side. Obviously, it looks like a lot, and it is a lot of material, but it really just enforces the fact that the enemies will have to come through the main trap tunnels and won't bother us. Now, what you can also do is just put some ceilings here, and similarly down here, we can put traps on those so that if any enemies do try to break in here, we can zap them and they will not be able to get through. Right, now we want to block this bit off because we don't want enemies to be able to come down here. So if we do the same sort of thing we've done at the bottom, so if we block like this, and then behind, and we can also get one in front and block like that. Get the whole thing going. Why is the music stopped? Where's the vibes? Get rid of the ceiling there. Don't need that. Add one at the back just to stop again from them trying to go down that corner. And then here like that. And what we can do here is do the same thing on a floor to stop them from coming through. We also want to stop them from coming up here. So we do that. Block the top with a regular cone to stop them from breaking through. And then we can just give a little extra reinforcement here to ensure they do not try come through. Repeating our grid method. Now, I did place extra stuff by accident. You don't need that one, I don't think. Well, maybe we'll keep it there because they don't sneak up the path there. That one's not needed. You know, you don't want to use every single resource. You don't want to waste them. And then once you've got that built, you can do the same sort of thing where we're adding this layer of traps to deter any enemies from trying to get through any of those. And then when we get to placing the traps, I'll obviously show you what you need to place there. We then have this area down here, so we're going to need to block this off to ensure nothing sneaks its way around, whether it be, you know, flingers or whatever it might be. Place that way. Get rid of that one. I did not mean to place that. Let's just edit this so we can do it a bit quicker, a bit more professional. Then we sort of just repeating the same design. Thought I placed one above myself. Once again, there, and there, all the way up to the edge, with one final one here. I did place an extra one there by accident. That should be enough for this bit. Oh, I placed one there as well. Get rid of that. That should be enough. If you really want to go over the top with this, you can place... Oh, I placed one under the ground here. Am I ever going to be able to get that back? Oh dear. Oh well, that's just living there forever now. You can build, you know, a carpet across this bit if you want. It's probably a bit overkill at that point. With Stonewood, you know, if you're doing endurance especially, you're going to be high power level. Your traps are going to be very, very powerful, and you're just going to be able to kill everything super quickly. So I wouldn't sweat about that sort of thing. With your trap tunnels that you're going to be building for B and C and A and stuff, that should cover, you know, different flanking routes. You could block this, for example. You might want to, you know, just to protect yourself, build this here, and then we can place some traps if we really want to on that. And then once you've done that, you're going to want to go ahead and level everything up to tier 3. It's not absolutely necessary. I mean, it's recommended for endurance, but, you know, if you are more new to Stonewood and starting out, you know, you're not going to have the materials. You won't be able to tear everything up. So just do as much as you can with the resources you can, focusing mostly on the outside, you know, outside build. So this bit here, that bit there, the entrance to the trap tunnel in general, and then, you know, this sort of area around here. Focus on those first when you're leveling up. But yeah, now that we've got that placed down, I will go over the traps and the perks you need for them, and then we'll go into actually placing those down. Thank you so much for watching to this point. If you are enjoying the video, please do let me know in the comments. But also, I am on the Supporter Creator program, so if you could please use my code CAMIG, and be sure to subscribe as well to get all future videos. Thank you so much. The anti-air trap 1 range on there for durability. Ceiling drop trap, so we're going for a crit build on this one as well. Sealing electric field. We're going for a crit build once again, you know it. Floor freeze trap. So for this one, we've got 2 impact and knockback. Floor launcher, so for whacking all the impact and knockback on there. Tar pit trap. So for this one, I like to go for full durability. Wall darts, another crit build, another all-rounder build. The wall dynamo trap. So for this one, I've gone for energy. Wall launcher. So for this one, we've got 3 impact and knockback. Wall lights, so another 3 impact, 2 reload speed. Wall spikes here, we've gone for crit build, so 2 crit rating, 2 crit damage. Put them floor spikes, so crit build on this one, that's pretty much. Alright, so now that you've got everything leveled up to tier 3, or maybe you don't have enough material to level everything up, or level everything up all the way, don't worry about that. But we can place the traps now, so we'll start with the main trap tunnel. So for this beginning area, what I'm going to go for is spikes to begin with here. Then as we come through, I'm hoping that enemies might sort of split off left and right. What you can actually do if you want to is place sort of, you know, this like X in the middle. It will force them to go round and use the whole thing. Whether you want to do that or not, you probably don't need to with how low level the enemies are in Stonewood. So I'm just gonna keep the spikes for those side ones, hoping that they'll just sort of clip, you know, the side and get damaged a little bit. And then I'm gonna do freeze for this one. Then as they come in, I'm going to use freeze all the way through. We want them to stop and be forced to stick in place. At the entrance, what we're going to do here is use the Zappy Boys. So do I have some? So we're going to use Sealing Electric Field throughout this entire thing, in this entire area, sorry. And then at the sides down here, these will affect the enemies as they come through. And then in the middle, we're going to go for gas traps. I'm saving my, you know, top level ones for twine, because in this area, as I said, you don't need like the absolute top best traps. Then going back to the entrance here. So basically, as I've said in previous videos, anywhere you have 2 walls facing each other, you want to use broadside. This is the most powerful and most effective way to deal damage in trap tunnels. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Then what we can do on these 2 here, well, you've got a choice really. You can use the impact wall launchers to push enemies back out of the tunnels, or you can just do wall darts. I'm going to do wall darts here because I think it would be more efficient to damage them from further away, because when they're stood here, you know, out here, they can get damaged, and then I think it will do more damage overall. At the back here, we want wall darts as well, because that'll hit them as they come down. And then in here, we want wall darts all the way through as well. All the way down here. Now, you will notice that these traps are limited to level 79. That is the highest level trap you can use in Stonewood. So I'm using 131s, which is a bit wasteful, so I might go through and replace them afterwards. So if you're doing this, you probably want to use, is it 82 you can build up to? Or 77? Oh yeah, it's just 3 stars is just what you want to use, because anything else, you know, you're wasting resources like I am idiotically. I'll probably replace these after, but I'm just showing you the most effective way to do this with 130, because we are, you know, maxed out in Save the World, so we might as well flaunt it a little bit. And yeah, that's just going to kill everything that comes through, even smashers. Now, the reason we don't do, like, you know, walls here to zigzag them all the way around is because smashers will just go straight through that. This one here is semi-risk, but I think it's far enough away from the main storm shield to be absolutely fine. Then for these areas where we've blocked off, you just want to put some sealing zaps above, or gas traps. Either way will work beautifully, it doesn't really matter. And then on the key areas where they might be hitting through, like here with the stairs, we can just put some spikes. You probably don't need it on all of it. I'm just going to put it on that one, to be honest, because that's like the most effective way for the husks to try get round. Then over here, again, same thing. Like, you probably don't need it all. It's up to you how all out you want to go. You don't have to put it on all of these. The main thing is probably the zap, because that will affect, you know, multiple enemies at once, or gas traps just to gas out, you know, big damage on the singular ones that come through. And then finally, if we go all the way over here to the one we blocked off down here, just for extra precaution, we can put some wall spikes on these. You could do the same, you know, put ceilings in electric field. It's up to you how you want to do it. It's less important, and you probably don't need the traps, to be honest. You know, it's that sort of easy in Stonewood. These traps will do you good. Now, the only problem you might have at this point is flingers. I don't think they'll be able to reach you from here, but if you're paranoid, what you can do is just get some of the anti-air traps. I have about 1,000 of them, so, you know, you could just put some towards the entrance of the trap tunnels, just in case they do try throw from here. I really don't think they can from this far away, so you should be fine. But, you know, if you're paranoid, or if you don't trust me, however it is, you can go ahead and put them there. But yeah, these are your trap tunnels for the home base. But this is the home base over there, and this is the amplifier just to the south of it. So just on the map, just to show you where it is, this is my Amplifier A. But to show the spawns, so we have a little spawn on this mountaintop, I guess you could call it, up here. And then the rest are going to spawn across there a bit further back. And so they're going to want to come all the way across there. If you have put an amplifier here, this might help a little bit. But I don't think you would probably have put it that far out. But yeah, you'll get them trying to come down there. Then these will come try get down here. And the ones up here may have tried to come through this bit. But obviously we blocked this off with our home base build. So what we're going to do is just funnel them all through this main path here that leads directly to the amplifier and block off the other side. But I'll show the blocking off afterwards, of course. So yeah, there's the spawns, and what we can do is basically just put a bunch of stuff above the spawns, you know, like tar pit traps and ceiling electric traps and such like that. But for down here where the actual main trap tunnels are going to be that lead towards the amplifier, if we give them this path down here, and then what we'll do is similar to what we've previously done, is sort of build around it. And what we'll do is we can place traps in these side bits. The husks won't actually be able to get in there, so if we put low walls like this, that will stop them from, you know, trying to get into these side bits. But we can put traps in these as well as on the ceiling through the entire thing. And then with this bit here, this is basically where we're going to be leading them down. So what we want to do down here is place walls around the higher elevation. And that way we can use, you know, damage them as they come in. Here we're going to put a low wall because we can use broadsides across and then deal massive damage in the middle as well. You're probably not going to get too many come to this left side, but there is, like, you know, spawns this sort of side, so they'll probably go there on this side. But the majority of enemies will come down this side. And then as we go down, there's probably no point putting a wall there, because I don't think it will be low enough for, you know, the enemies to trigger it. Whoops, I can't even jump back up. But this one here will get triggered. So for that one, you could either, you know, keep it as a low wall and do wall dynamos again, which might actually be the better way to do it. So I'm going to keep it like that, actually. And then across the entire trap tunnel here, we want to get ceilings to get our, you know, ceiling damage dealing in. And then at the top here, we're just going to basically layer floors around pretty much this entire thing, because, as I say, the enemies will be spawning like up here, down there, and up there. So they're going to come through this entire area. They don't spawn up at this top bit, so we can put floors here, but roundabouts this area we can't put floors, but we can put them up here and down here as well. So they're going to spawn up there and drop down. You could put some here, but we're going to save the structures and stop there, I think. And then we can get walls wherever we can to get more damage. So we'll just continue this over to here and get some here as well. I'll obviously cover blocking things, you know, if we want to block certain areas when we get to that. They can't actually get up here, so we don't need to block this, but we will be adding certain stuff up there just to, you know, stop flingers and lobbers and the such. So down here is kind of just up to what you want to do, really. So yeah, as I say, it's up to you. What we're going to do is build like 2 big tunnels for them to go through. We could probably bring the walls all the way down to here and there and another one there. The ones that drop down into this area will just come down the side and then come this way. So we don't want to put a wall here because this may incentivize them to start breaking through areas. to leave that bit open. And then through the middle, we will do the low walls to put wall dynamos on, and similarly through here. And then for the ceiling in this area, we're actually going to be building quite high up and put ceiling tire traps down, because that's going to, knock them back, deal loads of damage, and those apply from a height, so they're generally better put higher up. So as I said, for down here, you can mix it up a little bit if you want. If you want to sort of zigzag them, you can go for that. I tend to not want to do that down here just because you might get smashes trying to break them. I think it should be absolutely plenty of damage down here doing it the way we've done it here, and I think that should be enough for the actual floor pieces. So now what we need to do is basically get some of the ceilings placed down for our ceiling traps, as well as just in general having the lobber shield combined in. So if we build these walls up like such across here, pretty much the entire way across. We've obviously got this naturally built like this, so we'll just carry it on around. And then at this point, they're probably not really going to be doing much. We can just add a little bit extra to maybe there. You could probably do one more if you wanted. This is mainly at this point to block flingers, from standing here and flinging to the amplifier. But it partly, acts as traps as well. So if we place floors, ceilings, I guess it combines in both. So we're stood on it, so it's a floor, but it's a ceiling for the enemies down below. We want to take this quite far across, so you can go probably about here, maybe one more if you want. It depends how many structures you have left at the end. You can get rid of some of this if you need to, but this sort of ceiling is just going to be placed over pretty much the entire area. Just one thing to note here is when you get to this point, this is a spawn, so we don't want to place floor here, because the enemies can then just spawn here and they'll just go, oh, I'm just going to walk across here and go to your amplifier. I don't know why they sound like that, but they do. So, that's something I can't control. What we can do here, though, is build like that, which will obviously not connect, but it'll be good enough. But we can place walls like such, and then at this side, walls again. And if you really want, you can build it here and bring it across like that. It's up to you whether you want to do it at this side as well, and bring it across the whole thing. But basically what this area is for this spawn, and we're going to place, wall darts on it and then some ceiling traps above. It will also, as I said, counter as a flinger shield, so they're not going to be able to fling from here. We'll get huge damage on them when they spawn, and then they'll drop down into our tunnels and obviously get huge damage dealt to them down here as well. So if you're wanting to save on structures, it's Stonewood, so the enemies aren't going to be super high level. So you can sort of strip this back a bit, take it one further back, that sort of thing. You'd have to go as far right here as you if you don't want to. But if you're in the situation where I am, where you just sort of end game and you've got pretty much plenty of everything, then you probably want to just build it pretty much exactly as I have done. Then what we're going to do is sort of work on our flanking control. So our amplifier is there. So once we've placed the walls, we want to get our cones, but we're going to edit it so it's facing away from the amplifier to stop the enemies from wanting to break through. We'll do that here, and then another layer. Oh, whoops, I just placed another one above. Didn't mean to do that. All the way across, and then just make sure you're covering the back side of it. Hopefully you didn't laugh at that. If you are, then you've got similar immaturities to myself. Then one last layer back here, making sure you're also placing in between them, so you've got this sort of grid pattern going, and then walls at the back. For this area here, you'll sort of see this symmetric shape, if I can go up high enough. Probably want to place a wall there too, not the top one. We've got like a 4 and a 4 connected together. It's like a diagonal shape. And then once we have done that, we can do the same sort of thing where, it's up to you at this point whether you want to bring it here and then make the walls go that way, or if you just continue the walls there. We're going to bring it and just connect it to where we've built. So bring the walls over here. But we're also going to be building up here. to block them, and just basically all of it wants to be blocked. And we can put, I mean, I don't think they can squeeze down there, so you should be all right not placing a wall there. If you really want to, you can place this here. The only issue you might have is, like, say up here, if they broke through that wall and you had one there, they could just walk over the top of it. But I guess for completeness, we'll put one there as well. Again, you don't really need that front wall, but I just kind of for completeness for OCD, I'm going to put it in, but I don't think you do need it. And then from here, we will just continue making this. So once you've got this higher one placed up, we can place another one next to it. And then if we go backwards from here, we can then bring these across, because we want to sort of like stay close to this area here. So if we keep bringing it close to the edge, and then once you've moved back one here, just bring it across and keep filling in the grid pattern as we have before. And at this point, this is probably going to form part of your trap tunnels for your amplifier down here, or the one over that we're actually doing for the south direction. You know, we're going to sort of be covering that in that video anyway. So depending on, you know, which one you're doing, you probably don't have to go too far back with it. For this corner bit, you probably want to just reinforce the corner a little bit by putting another one either in front or behind. We're just going to put it in front and leave that as it is. Then once you... Whoops, I meant to land on the top. Once you've got this placed, you can get some more walls down. So I'm just going to tiptoe across here. The reason being is because we want to stop the flingers and lobbers from being able to do their thing. Probably up to there, I would think, would cover it. They're not going to be able to get it from... I mean, you probably don't need that one, but we're just going to put it just in case. And that should be enough to cover that side. And I think we covered this side fully as well. So as far as structures go, I think we've got everything placed down, and we should be good to move on to sort of doing the trap things. With this, you know, with this area further over here as well, you might want to just place these just to cover basically any husks that do try to break in these areas. We can put traps on these. Probably don't need that one actually. That's up to you. You could potentially just carry on that one more. And we'll place damage stuff on here just to stop any enemies that do come wandering over. They haven't got an invitation into our house, so we need to stop them from coming in, basically. Alright, so now that you've placed everything and got it leveled up, I just wanted to note one thing over here. So in this area we had two sort of deep holes here before. This one here, I've just placed a floor underneath. I can show it. Can't really get underneath, but you can see the floor through the you know, the sort of translucence there, and then extra walls and just one more, just because this wall here actually leads straight through. So just to stop the enemies from wanting to break through that wall, we just added an extra little bit. So I just wanted to show that before we start putting, you know, traps down and so on. So for the traps, yeah, we're going to start back here at the amplifier, and once I've placed the traps on, I'll show you a little sort of smasher build we need to build. But I'll save that for the end. So what we'll do at the very end here is just sort of a last ditch, you know, just in case anything does make it to this point. But again, it's Stonewood. Your traps are really high level, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. You can put floor spikes here even if you really wanted to. But yeah, we want to put dynamos on these small walls to deal damage as they come through, and then wall darts on the sides. And then in this area we want, on the ceilings, we want, I think I made some level 77 just to not waste too much, so I want to use those. Ceiling zaps at the sides, and in the middle we want gas traps. So yeah, I've got some level 70, I don't know why these are stacked differently, but yeah, gas traps to do massive damage to anything that does make it this far. Probably just smashers, really. Let's be right. Let's be honest. Just realised there's a hole there. We probably want to patch that up. Just put a wall. It's one of those situations where I don't think the enemies can actually make it through. You might want to put one at the side as well. You could probably actually do both sides and put traps on them if you want to. Just a little bit of sort of ad hoc traps being added here. Up here, we want darts, so I don't think I actually made any lower darts, so I'm just going to craft some real quick. Just to avoid myself from wasting too much high-level resource. I'm just going to use the lower ones because the traps get capped anyway. So yeah, I did not mean to put it there. Darts at the top as we come through. And then these side ones we've just placed down, we will want to get broadside traps. So level 77 because it's going to get capped at like 79 anyway. I don't think these ones will trigger, but we're going to put them down anyway just because we have loads of traps. So why not? Then as we come through, we can focus on the ceiling here. So as we come in, we're going to do zap traps. Reason being for these two is that when enemies are sort of stood around this area, they will trigger these and it will, affect the enemies in this area. So it's great to get them. And then as we come down this hilly area, we will use the tire drop traps. Because that will drop down and the tires will roll down with it and damage anyone in front of them. Here, you don't really need traps there. I mean, it's not the best area for it. It's up to you. You could do a broadside, you could do wall darts. It really doesn't matter too much. I'm just going to put wall darts there just to do a little bit of extra damage as they come past. And then in these two middle bits, we want wall dynamos on these. So let's get some of those placed. I've just made some lower level ones, not to waste my 130 ones. And then on the floor as we come through, we will do floor spikes because we want to deal damage as they start to come through. And that fills this area and the area below with the traps. Now, for this area up here, we're basically just going to place wall darts where there aren't two walls facing each other. So this one's obviously facing an open area. That one's facing an open area. Through here, these ones all at the back are facing open areas. So we put darts on those. And then on these two. This one here, we can actually place a broadside on. The music stopped. It's very eerie. Because that's going to ping back and forth between that wall. And then through this entire thing down here, we want broadside traps. Because we have two walls facing each other. Now, I know we have the low walls in the middle, which is probably going to make this a little bit weird, because they will fly over and then bounce back, but it'll still ping them back and forward between the low walls, so it'll do huge damage still. And then on this one, probably just go for wall darts to get anything, as it's walking up this hill area. On the floor through this entire thing, we're going to go for floor spikes, because we want to just deal damage, but slow them at the same time, so that our ceiling traps and wall traps can both be, doing huge damage for longer. So it's going to slow them, but it also deal a little bit of damage. So just on all of those. And then through here, obviously the only option for this is the wall dynamo. So we'll grab our level 77 ones and pop these through the entire thing. I hate the fact that there's no music in the background. I broke off for so long to level up the metal that the music's just stopped and I hate it. It's really eerie. For the ceiling traps, so we're going to start on these platforms where it's raised, because wherever we have the raised platform, we're going to do the ceiling zap traps and basically pretty much the entire area. One thing I forgot to say when I was here is that you can extend this out if you want to do even more damage, if you're noticing that you're not doing as much damage, but again, it's Stonewood. We don't really need to do that sort of thing around here. So yeah, we're going to place it around this and then one block out, because these ones will zap inwards to the guys up here and also the guys down there. So we're doing double the damage. And then where it's a bit further out, we will do tire drop traps, which I'll just place while I'm here so I don't have to come back. So we'll just place those. It doesn't matter too much where you're facing at this point. Ordinarily we'd face inwards as they come, but we're not doing any other damage here, so it doesn't matter too much about which way they're facing. At the end here, it's a bit more important because we want to push them away from the walls if they are, trying to break through. So for these ones, we'll make sure we are facing that way. And then before I place any more, I'm just going to come up to the hill up here to make sure we put the right traps up here. So zap traps all around this area. This entire closed off area, we're going to do zap traps And then at the sides, we want wall darts. If I can reach to place them. Oh, I don't think I can. I'm going to have to sort of jump off and place it and then come back up. It's kind of annoying. Oh, I thought I could stealth my way. Not stealth, but I thought I could skill my way back up. But I'm not as good as I thought I was. Oh, it's probably easier if I was on mouse and keyboard. Although I'm terrible with mouse and keyboard, so maybe not. And then, in fact, can we place it from down here? No. We're going to have to go back up once again. Feel free to skip this bit. You know where to place them. Enjoy placing them down. I know I did. God. Okay. Then for these extra areas, you don't really need the traps here because they're going to be sort of moving towards the left. So it's up to you. It's mainly for a flinger shield. What I'm going to do is just place it on the very inwards ones. So it's pretty much all of them. It's just that one that isn't being placed on. Let's just place it down anyway. Screw it. Why not? And then here, placing the tire trap. And then throughout this entire thing, where, you know, there are ceilings left, we're going to do the ceiling drop traps. Here, I'm just going to make a point to be facing towards, you know, where the husks are going to be heading, just to make sure these ones do push them. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Just to make sure these traps do push them back, because, you know, this is where we are doing floor damage, wall damage as well. So we want the enemies to be in there for longer. I tried placing one on that piece. That's not how that works. I think that should be everything then for the ceilings there. Then we just want a few up here where, you know, the key points where the enemies are going to be breaking through. I don't think I have any lower wall spikes. I'm just going to use these ones. Just want to focus. You probably don't need to place it on all of them. You know, you can pay attention to where they try break through and such. But for what we're doing, and as I say, like, we're going to be covering this with the other side, but, you know, if you want to add extra blockage here, feel free to go ahead now. And then in these bits here, if I can get to the traps, we're going to place gas traps on those ones, and these are already covered by the tire traps. Gas just because it'll affect all the enemies that come into it, because the gas is like an area of effect, and it does huge damage. So I think that covers all of the traps. Hopefully I didn't miss any, because there is a lot to do here. You know, this is one of the bigger areas. So yeah, all that's left is the sort of smasher build. So if you see my twine video on the Homebase, you'll know we made a bait and switch. Now the purpose of that one was actually to keep the smashers busy and, you know, keep looping them round. We don't need to do that here because the smashers are so, you know, low level in Stonewood compared to our traps that we don't need to go that over the top for it. All we need to do is just give the smashers something to work towards. Give them an objective. Give them a purpose in life so that they don't go angry and start smashing our trap tunnels. So all this does, it's a pretty similar build to what we built in Twine, but because it's not a storm shield, it's a little bit different, and it's not going to be connected to any sort of, you know, high-flying ramps that we need to place light traps or anything. So all this is something for the smashers to smash. They'll see that it looks like the amplifier is being protected, so they will want to come all the way through our tunnels to the end. If we didn't have that there, the smashers would see these structures as, you know, the nearest to the amplifier. They'd get here and they'd start smashing those instead. So to avoid that, we build this. The smashers will die in the tunnels. Don't worry about that. So yeah, that's the whole thing. So there you go. The south, that's not the south. This is the east build for Amplifier A for the south direction. So we've done the east direction, but, you know, we've done a lot of the work needed for this direction now. So that's, you know, that's good. So yeah, we're building the south. So for the south, they pretty much just spawn throughout this entire area down here, you know, just behind this amplifier. And I think a little bit closer as well. They tend not to avoid this close. It's mostly further back there. And if you have that amplifier down there, it's sort of going to be a joint spawn. So the stuff that we build here is going to double for the spawn down there. So, you know, that's a nice little 2-for-1, little buy one, get one free for you. A nice little treat. So for the build here, we're going to scatter some traps around, you know, where they spawn, but the main trap tunnel up here we're just going to sort of repeat the same sort of thing we have done in the past. So we're going to bring them up here, and basically, we can leave this as a low wall, actually, if I do that properly, if my fingers work. And then over here, we're just going to bring them forward from here. And this is, same sort of thing we've done here. We're just going to replicate this sort of design. And what you can actually do is if you make this a low wall, this trap here will double into this trap tunnel. Another buy one, get one free. God, we're full of offers today, aren't we? And then as we go through, we can just do the whole thing with low walls at the sides. Because what we're going to do is then have full walls behind those all the way to the bottom. And we will have the wall darts on those. So, yeah, good stuff. Probably put that as a low... Well, actually, I don't think you need a wall there, to be honest. Let's get rid of that. And then ceilings at the sides. Well, and for the main thing, obviously, as well. We want to get as much damage as we can through here. This needs to be a full wall to, avoid... Well, we could put damage there, but, it also avoids flingers doing their things as well. And that is good. Get some walls down here as well to get extra damage. I'll probably cover off the blocking off in its own section. This will just be the main trap tunnels built. So let's actually get back in there. Make sure we've got everything we need. So you might want to do low walls sort of between these. You probably don't need to do it all the way down. That's kind of up to you. And then at the end, again, that's up to you if you want to put one there or not. I don't think we need them there. The reason being for the low walls is we don't want the enemies to sort of, instead of coming down here, we don't want them to want to come through here. But to be honest, I don't think you need them. So if you are running out of, structures towards the end as you're building your last amplifiers, you can get rid of some of these if you want. I'm going to put full walls in these two though. So the reason being is because as the enemies come up here, I don't want them to want to break through here and, smashes especially. But I want to leave this one down so that we can utilize the ceiling trap here for enemies that come up. Even though it would be quite useful to, have it like that. I'm going to leave this one full, actually. I'm changing my mind. Sue me. We're going to put broadsides on that because it'll be really effective. So that basically tops off the trap tunnels there. As for down here, we're going to put walls at the sides here. And over here we can get some as well. Now, we're going to be having like traps up here when it comes to building for Amplifier D. So you don't need to do too much for this. Because as I say, we will be covering that sort of thing when we get to that. You can build it all the way across if you want for now, and then just break it down when you get to that amplifier. However you want to go about it. And then for this area, as I said, this is the area where they will be spawning. So you can build stuff down here as well. So for example, you could, get some walls going like this, and sort of alternate those, like so. Just making sure that you do stagger them, because if you just do it all like that, they're just going to walk down in a straight line. You can also make some blockages like that, for example, to make them have to go around. It's honestly up to you at this point. I'm going to put one there just because this is the bit that leads in. I want to sort of make them go a bit further if I can, and maybe just, honestly, it doesn't really matter. You can sort of wing this. It doesn't matter too much. The main thing is that you want to get walls looking at each other. So wherever you put a wall, about 2 blocks away, you want to put another one, because we'll do broadsides flinging traps against each other. So I think I'll just sort of leave it like that for now. You can, as I say, put, walls like this to force the enemies to have to sort of zigzag their way through. I'm not sure if they can walk through this area here, because I can't, so I assume they can't. But I'm not 100% sure on that. And then we'll probably just put another one there just to give it more to bounce off. And you could probably put like a wall there or something on that side it doesn't really matter too much. Most of our damage in this area is going to be coming from above. So, speaking of above, we want to place traps down this entire area. Ceiling traps, that is. So if we build walls here, this will sort of be our edge, and then what we can do is just bring it over here as well. And what we'll do is build a ceiling across this entire thing, pretty much. We're not going to be putting traps on all of these. Not every single one. Now, usually we wouldn't connect to this. So if I put like floors here, usually we wouldn't do this because husks could then walk on top of our tunnels. But as you can see, there's no way for husks to get up here. This isn't a spawn area. So if it ever does become a spawn area in the future, obviously you want to disconnect that. But for now, it's not. So as far as how far you want to go for this, it's up to you. They are going to spawn in pretty much this entire area, and it will be for Amplifier D as well. So don't be put off by the fact that we're using a lot of ceilings here, because it's sort of acting as our Amplifier D blanket for the spawn as well. So, you know, as I said, it's sort of a 2-for-1. This is where you definitely want to avoid placing it too close to the top. For this area, you know, whether you want to put one here and here, I think you should be fine because we've blocked off them, you know, being able to get to there. And in fact, yeah, I'm going to cover it. Just especially for the case of flingers, we don't want to give them a little window where they can throw, you know, enemies through. And we have blocked. If you want, you can build another, you know, set of blockages here. So, you know, just the same sort of strategy, building like that. I don't think you'd need it, but, you know, just for peace of mind for you guys, I'll build 2 there. Whether you want to replicate that or not, that's up to you. And then up this area, obviously husks could walk up here, but where they're going to go, they're going to come up here, and this is, you know, the trap tunnels were built for the east direction. So don't worry if they're going to come up here. That's absolutely fine. There's nothing they can do that's going to, you know, harm us or anything. You could just build a ceiling there just to do a bit of extra damage, but as I say, you don't really need that. And then as for walls here, we don't need any because they're not going to be able to fling from here. So that should cover it for the sort of lobber shield across the entire thing. And as I say, where we'll put traps. So it's a lot more gloomy and dark down here now. That's a bit creepy, isn't it? Over here, we want to just cover this to stop enemies from being able to circumvent our trap tunnels, because this leads to this area. We don't want them to be able to get through there because that's going to defeat the whole point of those trap tunnels. And then once we're at this point, if we edit this back so we can do this a bit quicker, get these all the way across like so, we can get our blockages in, whatever word you want to go for. Pick your favorite one, and we'll go with that. And just make sure they can't get anywhere. Make sure that's that direction though. We don't want them to be able to sneak through anywhere like this and, you know, go around to a different area. I mean, we will have traps and stuff here for Amplifier C, obviously, but we want to stop the area that they can get through. You could put another layer here if you want. You probably don't need it, to be honest, but and the fact that it's like, you know, into the mountainside now is going to make things a bit weird. But, you know, just for extra protection, you can go ahead and put those there. And this area here will stop them from being able to flank round. So, yeah, I think that covers everything that we need to take care of. We've already got the smasher bait here built, you know, to force them to come through the tunnels. So I think we're set now to actually go ahead and level this stuff up and start placing traps down. If I did miss anything because my memory's poo-poo, I will let you know, don't worry, in the next section. You probably want to just put a wall there, just for completeness more than anything else, really. As I said, for this area, you know, we've got the main stuff sort of set up, and you know, for these areas, we have zigzagged them a little bit. But if you want to play around with adding some more stuff in, honestly, be my guest. Like, go for it. We might put one there. Just experiment with it. This is the sort of area you guys get to have fun and experiment and just, you know, sort of play stuff around willy-nilly and go for it how you see fit. Leveled up. and you're ready to place your traps. Just one thing I wanted to add here. Hello. Just one thing I wanted to add here is just this wall here, just to extend it so that when they come up here, they have to, you know, go a bit further to get hit by more traps. It's just small, and it's another thing you can do here, just to make it so that enemies can't just, you know, sort of squeeze around the corner. It's not overly necessary and it's not too important, but I thought I'd just show that before going with the rest of it. So yeah, we've got all this stuff leveled up. So we'll actually start, if I go all the way back up here, we'll start right next to the amplifier. So this is, you know, sort of dangerous territory where we want to stop things absolutely, you know, if they get to this point, which, I mean, let's be honest, that's not going to happen, is it? Just because of how crazy our trap tunnels are. And then we'll place some ice traps there as well, and then at the very entrance to this thing, we want to get some floor spikes down here as well. You could even place a floor here, to be honest, if you want. The only thing is, in this area, stuff does start to spawn, and walls are a bit safer. You know, these probably will go after a while, just because the way things work in Save the World is when, you know, those tendrils come up and stuff spawns, it destroys structures. Floors are the first to go because, you know, they are very wide, whereas walls are very thin, cover a small area, so the walls can survive a bit easier. So you could try placing more floors if you want, but they will probably get destroyed. I think this one might be safe because they do tend to spawn a bit further back. But yeah, just wanted to cover that real quick, just so you know, you guys know. Then for the ceilings in here, we want to use I want to get the bottom level ones because we are in Stonewood. At the sides, we want to get the ceiling electric fields on all of these. As they come up here, we're probably going to go for ceiling. I can't even speak. It's gone down to 61. I didn't think it got reduced by that much. You might be better off using 130 then, but I think it should be fine with this sort of thing. Then as we come a bit further up, we want to go for ceiling gas, because we want to get that massive damage. Then through here we want a tire drop. So we're going to put one, making sure we're facing forward because that will knock them back down here. Then as we come in down here, we want the ceiling electric field, because this will affect, you know, this wider area, which is what we want. For wall traps, anywhere where we can down here, we want to get wall darts at the back of these little cubbies, these little, you know, areas. As long as it's facing to where the enemies are going to be standing, we want to get them in there. Like, for example, this one over here, there's nothing we can do here to actually damage the enemies, so there's no point placing anything there. Then on the low walls, we're going to get our dynamos again throughout this entire thing. On every single one, it's going to be huge damage if anything does make it this far, but they're not going to anyway, so, you know, it's irrelevant. On this one, we want wall darts because it is just a straight shot out into the open. You know, there's nothing to bounce off, so we don't want broadside. Same there, because we have the low wall, it makes it a bit more awkward to do broadsides. But down here, we're going to use broadsides here and there. Down here as well. I think you could probably put one there, to be honest, and it'll shoot some out, and place a wall there if you really want to. I'm not sure about the full-on effectiveness of that, but go for it if you want to. Feel free. And then a wall lights trap here just to blind anything that comes into this area, to stun it a bit longer and then it can get bounced about, that type of thing. Once we get out into this area, we're going to follow the logic of, if we have two walls facing each other, we'll use broadsides. So these two would use broadsides. This one's close enough over there to 3 blocks away to use broadsides, you know, here. But where there's not, like this one here's 4 blocks, we'll probably just do wall darts. So I'm going to place wall darts first. You can skip forward if you know where you're going to be placing these, because your walls might be a bit different than mine. But if you have placed them in the exact same place as me, obviously you'll probably want to watch this whole thing just to make sure you are putting them in the right place. I think we'll place wall darts here for now, but I think we will have a wall there eventually, so you could swap that out. That one's just facing into the open. That one's got one opposite it. That one is a bit too far away, I think, so we'll put that there. And we'll place one there, and just make sure for these ones you leave these ones open, because this is where we're blocking, so we want to put the wall spikes. Same there, and on this one we want the wall spikes on those. put wall darts there. These two are facing each other. I think that should be it for the ones that don't want broadsides in the build that I've gone for anyway. And then for the rest of them, yeah, we'll go for broadside. So just double check as you're placing that you do have a wall facing it to make sure that it is going to be doing the best damage possible. But otherwise, just slap them down. I am going to be just turning around each time just to make sure. I want to make sure these bad boys are efficient as they can be, you know what I'm saying? I think we missed a wall darts here, actually. This one should be wall darts. Place that down. And then go back to our broadsides for these ones. Lovely stuff. Absolutely huge damage in this area for the enemies. This one should be wall darts as well, actually. I'm not surprised that I've missed some because there's so much going on here. It's quite difficult to make sure you do cover everything. All right, and then that one's a broadside. I think that's all the walls covered. Just sort of get a view from above to see. While we're doing walls, we can go ahead and place the spikes on these, actually, just get that out of the way. And then I think all that's left is to cover the ceiling. So we've done it in here, we've done all the walls. So all that's left is to do the ceiling here, where apart from this one up here, where I'm going to put gas. So if I get my gas traps, all of these ones are going to have tire drop on them. There's no real point in putting ceiling electric field. We just want to drop tires down everywhere. Apart from these ones here at the very back, these ones are just to stop flingers. You don't need tire drops above these because obviously it's just blocked. So I'm going to show myself playing them, but I'm just going to speed up the footage here because I don't want to waste your guys' time too much. So I'll obviously just speed forward. You'll see me placing these down super quick. I did actually mess up on the first ones. It's not overly important which way you face, to be honest, in this situation. The closer you get, the more important it is. But you want to make sure you're facing the amplifier. So in this case, I messed up at the start and I was facing away. But if you're facing towards the amplifier, it means enemies will get knocked backwards away from the amplifier. So that's what you want to be doing. So as I was placing those, I did actually mess up on this one. You don't need one there. You can get rid of that because that's not going to affect anything. You don't need to put one on that one. But yeah, we've placed them in all of them. Hopefully that was nice and fun watching me do that at like triple speed or whatever it'll end up being. But that should be the rest of everything you need. We're doing Amplifier B here, which is just to the west of the home base. So if you look on the map, that's my Amplifier B. You might have a different letter here because you might have placed, you know, your B over there, and this might be your first one. But you know, it doesn't matter what name it is. The same thing's going to apply. So for a brief check on the spawns, they're going to spawn all around this area down here, this bottom area. They don't spawn on the top bit, just the bottom bits down there. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring them through here all the way towards the amplifier. We could build trap tunnels this side as well if we wanted, but it's more efficient to just block them. You know, we can just use structures to block them from coming up, and we don't have to use more traps. So effectively, what we're going to do is they're going to come up this main path here, and we will just sort of zigzag them towards the amplifier all the way down here. And we will be doing a similar sort of thing that we've done in the past where we utilize a wider area. So as they come up here, we can, you know, build this sort of wider area here where we can use basically the whole thing. And wherever we have a corner, whoops, didn't mean to put that one there. Wherever we have a corner, we just extend it out and then all the way down here, right to the end. And at this side, just building out one further than the trap tunnels actually go. So like that. Because then inside the trap tunnel, what we'll do is build low walls at the sides here. And that way we can get some zap traps going to deal even more damage. And we can put wall dynamos on the bottom, as well as having wall darts at the back. So, you know, it's going to be huge damage. Absolutely nothing's going to make it through these traps. Don't you worry about that. Beautiful design. Obviously, if you've watched my other videos, you'll be aware of this design and, you know, how it works. So for this whole thing, we want to get a ceiling over. Even the parts where they're not going to be walking, because, again, that's where we will put ceiling zap traps. Sealing electric field, not the zap traps that, you know, target one enemy. I do often call it a zap trap just because it fires out electric zaps, and I like to use that phrasing, even though it isn't really too accurate, because that is a different trap. Oops, need to get this back to full walls here. So as I said, they spawn down in this area down here, all across it, so we can't build anything else. You know, if we build walls here, they're just going to disappear when the enemies spawn. But what we can do is get some ceiling, you know, above this to put tire traps on and so on. So we'll cover the whole thing pretty much all the way to the back, because they're going to spawn, you know, all the way back here. And we'll just cover the area around here, like so. And then over here, we will be blocking this area off, you know, with the usual methods. So we'll extend it out because it will basically act as insurance, I guess, in a sense, to ensure that, you know, stuff isn't breaking through our traps. So we can extend them all the way out here and just sort of get this sort of shape. It's not overly important, you know, if you don't miss this one, for example, and you don't have this one, it's not too important because it's Stonewood, you know, stuff's going to die really, really quickly and really easily, so you don't have to worry too much about that. So yeah, we've got the main tunnels built. That's pretty quick compared to the first amplifier we did. That was a very long one. So now that we've got that built, we can pretty much go ahead and start blocking, you know, making it so enemies can't flank us, basically. So we'll start over here with this ramp. So we want to block them from coming up, block them all the way up, putting cones on the top, and then we also want to just reinforce this a little bit. So once we're back on the flat surface, we'll do that. Probably put a wall at the side as well, because we're going to have stuff here and we don't want them breaking through and dropping down. And then let's just build the blockage down here real quick to get an idea of, you know, where we need to build. Get that. Get the ceilings on. Another wall there, now that we can build these here. When I last did my trap tunnels, you weren't able to build stuff like that. But now you can. So just block this entire thing off, making sure you're getting that grid pattern as we have in the past, where you're filling in the middle as well, because it is important. It needs to be done. And then another layer here. It's probably not overly necessary, like, you know, these ones. It's just in case the husks try to break through the cracks, for example. And then we'll go ahead and put one last one at the back here. It's probably overkill at this point. Probably not needed. We'll cover this ramp as well. Don't need that one. Just put that on top and block one final time. Then over here, we can go ahead and probably just do like one extra layer behind here. So I'm going to put a floor there. In fact, actually, that wall's not needed, but that one is, and that one is. And then one final go here. So there. So this wall here is part of this final trap hallway. So you could put extra blockage here, you know, sort of do that on all the sides. They're really not going to try break out at that point because, you know, they're straight forward to the end. One thing I did miss in here, though, is I want just a few low walls in here towards the end to just stop the enemies from wanting to get into this area. In fact, we'll just do it in all of them. You probably don't need it in all of them, but I mean, we're going to have plenty of structures left over. In fact, let's pop some in here just to be on the safe side. Like that. Now, one of these, this one is obviously leading out, and so is this, but this is less of a worry. But we'll do it here as well. What we're going to do is this. Now, you can still have the zap trap, and it will affect the enemies, and you can actually still put wall darts, and I think they will sort of creep past. We probably don't need it, though. But the reason we're doing that, and we can also do... not that way. I always get this muddled up. That way. Just an extra layer of protection to stop them wanting to break out and go that way. So we'll do the same here. So like that. We can put the wall back and then get our cone placed. So again, the traps are still going to work. It is making slightly less damage, but it just stops them from wanting to break out because, you know, like here, for example, they can't go anywhere, so we don't have to worry about that one. But those ones, we just need that extra little bit of mitigation there to, you know, stop them from wanting to do it. And then this is the other side of that wall that I was talking about, so I'm just going to do this as one final sort of precaution. Now, we do also want to block down here, so we're just going to do the same sort of thing we did the other side. Now we can just do regular cones, and then another one. We want to make sure they absolutely cannot get up here, and then at the top we'll just do one final little layer, making sure they can't and don't want to get up here. Because, you know, some stuff's going to spawn like over there, and they're going to want to come up here. Because, you know, it's a long way. It's a long commute for them to go from down here all the way up this ramp and into these trap tunnels. But, you know, if there are some spawning down here, they're going to want to do that. So an alternative is potentially to make like a ramp up, but it'll probably get destroyed when the spawns come down. Now, what you can do as a little bit extra is just sort of build the drop traps that we're going to be putting a bit further out, just to cover, you know, if they do start hitting that, that will cover that. And then over here, as we can see now, where we have blocked, you know, the enemies from being able to get in, we can extend this ceiling down to there, and probably want to cover these as well. So just going to extend. Whoops, I did not mean to fall there. Because what I was going to do... Oh, clutch. What I was going to do is just extend this out like so. Then we get a nice straight line. It just looks nicer to me. But yeah, we've got that covered now. And I think that covers all of the structures and such needed. We will be mitigating that with some of the traps, you know, like wall spikes, that type of thing. But obviously I'll cover that when I get to the traps, which will be in a few seconds for you guys. But I'm going to level all this stuff up because it's just so much easier to place traps on level 3 rather than placing it on level 1 and then leveling up. So yeah, I'll see you shortly once that has been done. Thank you so much for watching to this point. If you are enjoying the video, please do let me know in the comments. But also, I am on the Supporter Creator Program, so if you could please use my code CAMIG, and be sure to subscribe as well to get all future videos. Thank you so much. Alright, so now that we've got it leveled up and it's looking all beautiful, obviously if you are starting out in Stonewood, for example, you don't need to go as far out, and you don't need to level it up as much because you won't be able to anyway. But yeah, we can go ahead and put the traps in here. So we'll start from right next to the amplifier. It seems like it makes sense to start here. We're going to put some tar pit traps down on the last two just to stop anything that does make it that far. Should it make it that far? I don't think it will. But say smashers, you know, they would be the only thing that would have the potential to make it that far. And even those aren't strong enough to make it through these bad boys. And then we've put spikes on the floor to do damage and slow them at the same time as they come through. We love a bit of the 2-for-1. We love a good deal, don't we? Then wall dynamos on all of these low walls. Obviously, it's the only trap we can actually put on these. So just go wild with it. Go wild. Put it absolutely everywhere. Apart from, you know, in here, it's not going to apply to the husks coming through the tunnels, so don't put it in those ones. I know I said put it everywhere. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Then at the back of walls in these sort of cubbies, we want to put our wall darts. So only on the walls that are actually facing in towards where the husks will be walking. On this one, I'm going to leave it for broadsides because the walls are lovely and close together. Those two for darts. This one, we'll just do wall darts. I'm going to put it on the back of these. I don't think it will really do much. So maybe I'll just leave it. I'm going to put it on. I think it still comes through. So we'll pop it in there and see what happens. I don't think that wall will do anything. So we're not going to put it on that one. Yeah, I don't think that wall can actually affect anything because by the time it gets to here, it's too, you know. So we don't need to put any traps on those. but at least, you know, we can use the ceiling in those spots for the zaps and also the dynamos there. So we're still getting use out of that space, even though we haven't put, you know, those traps there. Then, as I said, for this spot, we're going to go ahead and find the trap because it's not in there already. We're going to put our broadsides. We love a broadside when it's opposite each other, and the beauty here is they're going to be frozen, so yes, beautiful stuff. Then, for the central part of the trap tunnel, as we make our way through, we're going to be putting gas traps down. We want plenty of damage. When we get to this point, I'm going to continue with gas trap here, and then these ones, I think I'll do ceiling electric zap. Apart from this one here, I'm going to do the tire drop trap, if we can get it put active and then turn around, just so that it forces them back out. We'll love a bit of that. And then for the rest of them, as I said, we'll do the ceiling electric field. So even in those corners where we have the corner, you know, raised floor type thingamajig, whatever you want to call that, you're probably better with the words than I am. We want to get the ceiling electric zaps in there because they will affect husks as they go past. It's a little bit messy compared to if there wasn't that, but we do need that to stop them from wanting to go out there. You could probably get away without it with the floor there, if I'm honest. So if you want to trial not using it, I will when I do mine, and I can let you know if you can get rid of it when we've you know, done a full video on you know, showing that these trap tunnels work and such. Down here, it's up to you what you want to do down here. You can either try stun them with these walls, with some lights, so that they get attacked by the traps for longer, or you can do wall darts to do damage. I think I'm going to go for wall darts and just go pure damage. I don't want anything making it out of spawn. I want to absolutely blast them all, you know. Then for all of these ceilings, literally all of them, the ones that are high up anyway, we're going to put tire drop traps on them. So once again, like I did in the other video, I'm going to place these down, and I'm just going to talk while I speed up the footage, because you guys don't want to watch me slowly place those down for a few minutes. I respect your guys' time using these videos. You know, you want to get to building these things as I'm going through it. You don't want to be spending your time watching me place traps for ages when you already know that you just need to put tire drop traps on them all. Apologies for when I said absolutely all of them. You don't need to put it in that corner one. So hopefully you were paying attention when it was sped up. But that corner one I'll just call out now. It's not going to affect anything, so there's no need putting a trap there. So as I said, this is overkill. Like, you can probably get rid of the back ones. You can probably take away the entire back row if you're, you know, stuck for resource or for structures, whatever it is. This is Stonewood. You know, we don't need as much as we do in the other areas. So, you know, if you do need any structures back, for example, take those back. But we're going to put wall spikes on these ones. They will be attracted to those walls and want to break through. Same over here. We're going to put them on all of these and these ones. They all have, obviously, the protection above. In fact, we don't have it on this one, though. So what we can do is just put an extra one there. I apologize for missing that out before, but we will go ahead and put that there now and get a tire trap on there. And then I can just level up to level 2 and then do the rest after. At this point, I think we've covered everything. You can put a wall spike on this one as well. I really don't think enemies... Hello? I don't think any enemies are going to make it round there. You know, we'll have stuff for Amplifier C here to stop stuff. But, you know, if you're paranoid about it, like, I'm pretty paranoid, so I've put it down. So feel free to do that. I think that should cover all the traps, though. We've got everything set up. Everything's looking beautiful and wonderful. And, you know, look at this mess. Like, no one's making it through here. Not even smashers. Smashers are just pathetic. And they're not making it through. Amplifier C. So this is the one just to the southwest of the home base, as you can see on my map. So we did B last time over there, which we covered a little bit of the blocking off for this one, which is nice. So that makes our job a little bit easier. So we've just got one spawn to go for because our Amplifier D is down there, which blocks the spawn from down there. If you don't have that one there, well, I can't really show you much about that. I mean, I probably could do a build for that if really necessary. Or, you know, there's probably other guides out there. But if you do really want me to make one of those, please let me know in the comments. So we're just going to cover the west spawn, which is over here. And they're just going to spawn around about this area down here. So it's going to be more centered towards the right. So we're going to bring them up this hill and up there, and then just block this side instead of making two sets of trap tunnels. So the main trap tunnels will come through here straight to the amplifier, where we'll do the same sort of thing we usually do, where we have the full walls at the back, and then we can have shorter walls at the front, because this way we can utilize more traps. And we love a bit of utilization here. So here we can sort of zigzag a little bit like this, and then we can also make use of another, little box here where we can add more damage. We can probably do one there as well, like that, to get more damage as they come in. These ones are just going to have to be full walls. Obviously, we can't do much about that because there's just a massive hill there. So, yeah, as I said, there's not much we can do about that. Then low walls on these, because then we can put down some dynamos, which do huge damage. And we love a bit of huge damage, don't we? Then at this point, there's a few options. You can go a bit further out with the wall here, or you can just place it here. I'm going to place it here for this one, and then extend the wall to there, put ceilings, and then get the rest of the ceilings throughout this entire trap tunnel. Even on the sides, because as before with other trap tunnels, we can put ceiling zap traps here, these ceiling electric fields, and they will come and apply into the main trap tunnel here. And then on these we can put tire traps, for example, to drop down. Down here we can put some extra... Hello? It just doesn't place. Put a wall there as well. We want to block them from getting onto this awkward area like so, and then we can just put these... Is it going to let me put one down here? Yeah, it will. It forces me to place one at the top as well. Don't want to do that. And then walls at the back. That'll just stop them from, breaking through this bit. And then we can get some extra walls around here as well, just for that extra bit of damage. And we can also put a wall there. And I think that should be enough down here. We could put ceilings here, or we'll probably just go ahead and put the ceilings higher up over the spawn. And have, ceiling drop traps. The beauty of this bit is, because we're forcing them to come in here, we can do quite a lot of damage as they come up before they even get into the trap tunnel, which is ideal, really, because obviously the more damage we do out here, the longer the main trap tunnel will last, and basically that's endurance, isn't it? You want to make everything last as long as it can. So yeah, for the sort of overlay here, we don't need to go over this bit because, we can't damage them there. They're not going to be stood there. On this bit here, you may notice enemies can't get up onto this, so we can build as close to it as we want, which is what we are going to do, all the way over here. And with the other one, or as with the other one, I should say, you can build this out as far as you want. You don't have to go too far out with it if you don't want to spend too many traps. I'm going to sort of do up to where the sort of, the mountain goes to. I'm not going to cover this, but you could if you want to spend more traps and resource. I'm just going to save it, I think. And then for this bit here, we're going to build these walls, which will in fact extend up, because there is a brief spawn up here on this bit up here. So by doing this, look at that landing, we can get this covered as well with some ceilings up here. Awesome. And then for the very top here, we're probably just going to block them off, by doing the standard sort of blocking techniques with a cone on top, walls around the side, and that should be enough, I think, for that bit. Get a ceiling over. The only reason I was kind of cautious putting one there is because if they do make it up, or they might want to make it up more, because then they can walk along the trap tunnels. But if we have enough protecting it, they won't be able to get up. So what we can do, if we want to, is sort of add another layer here, like such, which will stop them from wanting to get up here. And stop them from being able to get up here. Same with here, we can put a ceiling just to block them. This is an area where we really want to stress, you know, not letting them out. So we will block it off like this, and now I'm trapped, so I live in here forever now. No, we can break out just about. We'll obviously need to level this stuff up at one point. Maybe put a wall there just to stop them from squeezing around the side. But that is a point where enemies may try, you know, spawn up here and then sort of, you know, just go around our trap tunnels, and we don't want that, obviously. We don't want them to be able to just cheat the system and, you know, get around our trap tunnels like that. So if we block that, it stops them from being able to do that. From up here, they can't really go anywhere, so we don't need to do too much more other than just having, you know, a bit of wallage around the sides. You can go as far as to sort of extend it out one more over there and have more traps. I put traps there at least, and have some here. As I say, you can extend it out one more if you want, if you are a bit cautious, and build it to there. I just want to show you where you would build it. Oh, I'm not going to be able to place it. I'm just going to do this real quick and then break it. It's just a lot easier than jumping down as I place it. So you can go all the way out there and, you know, put wall darts on these and electric zaps. I'll probably leave it with that on, to be honest, just because we get plenty of structures in Stonewood with far fewer amplifiers to build for, so we have that sort of extra protection regarding that. Now, with more of the blockages, you potentially might get some spawn up on this bit, which has been known to be quite rare, but if they do, just add sort of a blockage here, you know, the same sort of style with the cones, if you do need that. I'm going to leave it open for now. The main thing we want to focus on blocking up here is this. So we want to cover down here and stop them from getting up. So I'm actually going to build a split in the middle, cones on top. These are meant to just be flat cones, my bad. Walls, then our cones. Make sure we cover this entire grid, like so. And probably one at the back here as well. Really protecting our trap tunnel. You can even go one more here as well. This one's probably not as necessary, but the fact that it only took one more to build, I feel like it's worth it. That should cover that flank. There's a lot of routes they can take, by the way, in this area. So they can come down here and, you know, sort of flank round. Now, we've got our Amplifier D there, so we're going to be building stuff down here. So I'm going to avoid building anything here for now. But what you would do if you were wanting to block this off is probably just something like this. In fact, now that I'm building it, I mean, I might as well just leave it here, right? Instead of building it again in the next video. And then probably put another layer behind this. So just directly behind, like so. Again, I'm just going to build it just because I'm here. I'm showing you. I might as well just build it. Thanks for making me build this, guys. The peer pressure got to me. There's not too much you can do here in the ways of, you know, traps as they're trying to break through, because if you put a floor here to sort of put damage underneath, you know, you could build high up like that and put some traps on those. That's probably what we'll do. I don't think they're really going to necessarily try go there, but there is another route up here as well where they might try come up. So what we'll do is block the route like this. Get that there as well. And just another layer behind. That should be plenty. I'm just going to put this facing that way just for completeness. And here, we'll probably put a ceiling there and put a trap on there, because then we can put wall spikes to heal that as they try and break through. And the music has stopped yet again. I need to stop making such long videos. I think there is another flank route they might try take. So we've got this area. We probably want to block. There's over here as well. Oh, there's so many flanking routes on this map. I'm thankful to have fewer amplifiers, you know, but it's really annoying having to build more. Hello, thank you. And then wall there, and then we can just sort of put these down to do a little bit of damage. Again, this could have been covered in Amplifier D, I suppose. You might want to just do an extra one up here as well. Probably not necessary at this point, but we're just going to put it there just because I'm here and I have the structures and I don't really care at this point. No, I do care. Yeah, for this one, you could just block it here. That'll be enough. We're going to be having tunnels come up here anyway, so, you know, that's going to mix in with that. But yeah, this is a bit of a fiddly one. So, I mean, we've covered the flanks here, thankfully, on that video. So I think we can stop here now. There's so many different routes they could take to get to the amplifier. If you do spot them, obviously, taking a route that I haven't covered here, it can be very fiddly. Different people can get different spawns as well, and stuff like that. So just keep an eye out for it. I will update if I do see any extra spawns come in as updates come through and stuff like that. But as far as we are concerned, that should cover everything. If you want to patch this up just to stop flingers, that's fine. We can go ahead and do that. But I think that should be all the structures we need. And now I can show you the traps that we're going to be using with the perks that you want to use. We might just want to block some of these actually real quick. But yeah, I'll show you those while I level this stuff up, and then I will see you afterwards. So I'll see you shortly. Leveled up, or as much as you can, and you've built as far out as you can, you know, if you are just starting out in Stonewood. But these are designed for endurance, you know, in late game, so hopefully you have everything sorted. There is a lot here, and just a few more things to cover that I did miss off. So I don't think I covered this ramp here, just next to the D amplifier. So what I've done is I've just wrapped around the thing at the bottom, the ramp, put a ceiling and a cone on top, and then just a ceiling here for some damage. And then where these two meet, I've just put some walls and then more ceilings with cones, so that we can sort of control those, you know, flanks a bit more. And I think that was the only thing that was added, so you should be good to go. So we'll start at the amplifier then with the traps, where last ditch effort at the very end, if anything did make it to this point, which ain't gonna happen anyway, but something messes up, you know, you can't take care of the UFO in time or something like that, you know, it's endurance, things are bound to go wrong somewhere sometimes, so this mitigates that, obviously. And then floor spikes for the rest of it. We can actually put some at the bottom here. I didn't realise that I hadn't put some, and we could probably put some here as well if you want. It might get covered by the spawn and get removed, you know, but at least we can sort of attempt to, you know, make that a bit more difficult for them. And then if you want to, you can also put a little low wall there. You can do the same thing up here as well if you want, but I don't think we'll need it really. It's all over the top at this point, stuff that we probably really will not need. Okay, so there's the floors taken care of. The ceilings, we will go ahead and put gas traps down the middle for the most part. I switched to floor traps there, that's interesting. I think I need to go to bed. So yeah, gas traps on most of these. When we get to this bit, I'm going to put ceiling zappers because it's going to affect a wide area. So I think it's more effective. And then down here, we can get some tire traps to fall down as the husks come up. Here, we'll put another gas trap as they come in to do big damage. Whoops, just get that leveled up. And then for the rest of them, then I guess we can just go ahead and put ceiling zap traps down. So on all of these, get them placed down, son. Get them down. So much damage in this area. Then next up, we can get some wall dynamos on the low walls that are actually, you know, touching the trap tunnels. Any of the other ones we don't want to bother with. So, you know, the ones in between, we don't want traps on those. Then while we're at it, we can go ahead and put the wall darts down. So let's get those placed in these little cubbyholes. So this one as well. I'm going to put a stun there, actually. And then on these ones, for these two, I'm going to go with broadside and see how things go. For the back ones, we'll go with the wall darts. So as I said here, I want to try broadsides because the low walls can get in the way of the cannons sometimes, but they are very effective when you have two walls opposite each other. So I think it's going to be a lot more effective than the wall darts. But, you know, you're fine to use wall darts. It's not going to be the end of the world or anything. And then on this one, I'm just going to put a stun. So wall lights, just to stop them in place and get, you know, this is a hot spot in these trap tunnels where loads of damage is going to get sent out. So we want to stun them a bit. Wall darts here will fling on anything coming up. Then at the sides, we want broadsides. These are going to ping back and forward down here as well. And it's going to hit so much damage. Down here, we'll get another stun. And then on this wall, we'll actually go for a impact wall launcher to launch them back out if they made it to that point. Here, we'll go for broadside because these two walls are opposite each other. This one will go for wall darts. I appreciate I'm going this quite quick as I go through. But, whoops, I did not mean to put that there. I appreciate that, you know, this is probably going to be a long video, but it's a lot to cover. Broadside on these two as they are looking at each other. It saves us having to do, you know, extra ceiling traps. Then on the wall here, I don't have it on the hotspot. It's not been used in a while. The wall spikes to stop them, you know, hitting the walls. I think that covers everything out here apart from the ceiling, which is all going to be tire drop traps here, by the way. So you can just go ahead and put them in. And, you know, I usually sort of fast forward in these areas while I do that. But we've got a few more things to cover first. So let's get tire traps on these. This way, actually. Knock them back a bit as they're doing that. We've got this build round here. We just want to get tire trap at the top and then a wall spike on the wall. Oh, there's so many flanks. It's a lot to make sure I'm, you know, getting it all. We can go up to this bit up here, and on the walls, we'll just go for wall darts on all of these. Oh, the clutch. This is going to be difficult to do it again. I want to keep trying. Working so far. Oh, get really good at that. Then up here as well. Just for this one, I think this is where the ramp is. So for this one, we will put the spikes. And then we can go back to doing wall darts on these. You could even go for wall launchers on that, and it'll launch them down there. I'm just going to stick with wall darts for these, though. And then up here, we'll go for just gas trap on that one, which is where they're going to, you know, probably try break in, if anywhere. And then for the rest, we will put the zap traps around here. And that'll cover the spawn up here. Don't know where I'm jumping to. No idea where I'm jumping to. We can cover these down here now. So we've got, you know, got a few spots over here that are covering flanks. You probably don't need to do one on that one, but I'm going to put one anyway. Down here, we're going to put this on both sides. It's a bit overkill again, but I mean, you know. The reason we're doing zap on these two and then gas on that one is this is the one that they're going to try break in. So we want the most damage, and then these will just catch any that come close. Over here, we will just do the gas on the one, and then some wall spikes. You probably don't need it on the side one. You could probably get rid of that, to be honest. They're not going to try breaking that one. They'll be going for the main one. Then up here, we'll get wall spikes with a wall darts to shoot at them as they try break in. And we'll leave this one for when we get to the trap tunnels for Amplifier D. That's been covered, so I think all that's left to do is to place all the tire traps. So I'll just place those right now and speed it up. So again, you don't have to watch me doing this for a while. You know, you can just sort of watch it at like 3 times speed and then catch me when I'm done it. The traps. Oh, I missed one here. Hello. I really do need to go to bed. Missed that one, but yeah, they're all covered now, and I think that should cover everything. As I said, there's a lot to go over. If I did miss any, obviously just stick to the same sort of rules we use. So Amplifier D down here for me. So there's 2 other locations. So we have up here, you could potentially have it, and there's one all the way over there. So if I just show you the map for where mine is, it's down here, bottom left. Now, obviously, I don't have these 2 amplifiers placed in those positions, so I'm not going to be building specifically for that. But, you know, if you really do need builds for that, let me know, and I can look to, you know, make those briefly showing, you know, where you'd put them if I was to have it there. But yeah, for Amplifier D down here, we're going to start with the east direction because we've pretty much done all the work already, right? So for the east up here, they're going to spawn in the same sort of area they do for our Amplifier A. So, you know, we've already got the tar pit traps set over the entire thing. All we need to do is just build some little tunnels leading down to Amplifier D down there. So we're going to lead them through this area. Just block off that corner there. We're going to do a bit more of a block off on this one, just to stop them from wanting to flank, because they could drop down over the tunnels. And I'm actually just going to block this now. I usually do the flanking and stuff afterwards, but just we're here. Let's just do it now. Why not? Do that there. So yeah, the main tunnels here are going to be in this area here. So if we build walls in these positions, we could put a floor here. Yeah, we'll do that actually. And then walls here like this. In fact, instead of putting that there, we'll put it there. We've got all the ceiling stuff set up. The reason I want to do this is, one, we can do this. Now, I'm not sure if these will get broken, you know, when spawns come in and stuff. They might potentially, you know, want to do that. What you can also do is this wall here, where we placed for before, if we move this to here instead, we won't have then 3 walls next to each other, because 3 walls next to each other might incentivize the husks to break them. So if you do it like this, you could even put a wall here if you want, you know, get some extra sort of damage going on, and then one there to have more traps. There's no point in putting floors here because these, I think, will definitely get destroyed, but the walls are more likely to stay in. Then here we want to just put some back walls in. We'll put some ceilings, and I don't think flingers can fling from here, but if you are paranoid, you know, you could put some walls up there, or if you do see them flinging through, for example, then you can do that. So on this right hand side, they're just going to do a straight drop down. So if we build all the walls like so, and then give them a floor at the bottom, we can sort of bring them down this direction. And then for this side, if we just do this as we bring them down, just making sure they're still trapped inside, and then bring them into the connecting area here. What we can do down here is what we've done in the past, where we can put, you know, traps here at the side. We block that off. We can then do some lower walls here and put some traps in there. In fact, actually, we can do that here. So if we put that, and we'll go for a full wall there. Block that off. Ceiling, ceiling. This is where they'll be coming down. So you could put a full wall here as well. It depends how you want to go about it. We're going to put it there. You could even put one there as well. I'm not sure how well the traps work when it's, you know, half a wall like that. So I'm going to leave that one open instead of placing one there. And then as they come down, we're going to sort of bring them to here, and then just do a bit of a zigzag towards the end. Get that wall built there. This bit's going to sort of be our, you know, usual extra traps that we can use as they sort of come towards the objective. We can get these built here as well. This is sort of going to combine with the trap tunnels that we build for this area. So, you know, probably leave that one open, but, you know, this is sort of going to merge up because we will get a spawn down there. But with this direction, it's a lot easier to control them because they spawn in this massive area and then come through here, so we can do a lot more damage. This one, you know, the spawn's just right up there, so we don't have as much room to play with. Probably just get ceilings on all of these. Just want to check. The husks can climb up here. I don't think they will, but if we get rid of that ceiling just to be safe for now, and then when we do that direction, we'll cover it. Then for here, we will do this, where again, we'll do our sort of box there and there. And then once we get to this point, that's pretty much it, I guess. We don't want to build too close to the amplifier, which I think we have done previously in some cases. I think building diagonally should be fine, and then from here we can do what we usually do. We'll leave it there, and then we'll build a bait and, well, not a bait and switch, just a bait for the smashers. So that should be everything you need. You can put a wall there as well. Shouldn't be any harm in putting that one, just because we can put a bit of extra damage there. But just leave the exit open, otherwise the smashers will charge. And that should be good for the structures for that area. So, you know, flanks like up here, we'll probably cover this with the other direction. You know, we can block this off. We'll cover that when we do that direction. As for over here, you know, we've got all this stuff blocked up and all that good stuff from previous videos. The enemies can come down here. So, you know, we probably want to block this off just so the enemies don't wander down here and, you know, circumvent the trap tunnels and then walk all over them. So if we build this, at this point we can get rid of that spike on there. We don't need that. Whoops, I did not mean to place that. I just wanted to change the direction. So if we point that way, make sure we do the full grid here. Didn't realise there was a brick there to stop me. Now, it's kind of difficult, as I said here, because if we start building stuff here, it might get destroyed by spawns. So really, this is probably all we're going to be able to do there. What you can do is just add one last layer at the back like this, and do it like so. And then that should be enough to stop them from coming through here. You know, if they try break through here, we'll probably swap this one out for maybe broadsides to ping back and forward, or the wall spikes. We'll put it on that one as well, but I'll cover that when we go into the traps. But that should be the only flank we need to take care of, because everything else should be taken care of. So now that we've got all that stuff down, we can go to placing the traps. Alright, so now that you've got that leveled up and it's now nighttime because it took so long upgrading all the metal as it goes, we can start placing down the traps. So at the very edge, you know, right next to the amplifier here, we will place tar pit traps to just suddenly stop anything in its tracks, even smashers. And then we will place a freeze trap here. And then higher up in the... Oh, I missed a piece of metal. That's cheeky. Get that upgraded. In all these bits here, I'm thinking for the very last one we will do a freeze trap, and then in all the other ones we will do wooden floor spikes if I can get to my lower level ones, just because it's Stonewood. We don't really need the big massive ones. Then up here on all these, just place floor spikes. We want to damage them as they come out of spawn. While I'm up here, might as well get the other traps going. So for these two up here, we want ceiling electric field. Reason being, like, you might want to do tire, you know, you might feel like inclined to do that. We can do that further down, but Zap Boys here will affect all the husks in this spawn area out here, so that's the reason we're doing that. Then for these walls, we want to do broadside, and here, in fact, it's pretty much going to be everywhere in this area, because we have a bunch of walls looking at each other, right? And for those, we put broadside traps, baby. So smack these down absolutely everywhere, pretty much. These two are looking at each other. The only one for this one, there's not a wall looking at it. I'm just going to put one there. And that way we can slap broadsides there. So I apologize for putting that down after the fact. But, you know, we improvise and adapt here. At this point, we'll do broadside here as well. You could potentially put a wall there and put more broadsides on. I don't think that would be necessary, especially because then you limit how much these can affect around them. As we come up on this one, we will do wall darts, if I can get my lower level ones out real quick. On the sides, we will continue the broadsides, because broadsides are king. We're going to put one on that one as well. You can get these two shooting out at the very least, just to get a bit more damage. On this one, we will do the tar pit trap tire drop. Every single time I get the name mixed up. If I ever don't get it mixed up, just I don't know, cheer with joy. On these ones, we can put wall dynamos as they fall down to hit everything as they come down. On this back one, we'll do darts, because it will shoot all the way through the tunnel, hitting everything as it comes through. Broadsides on the side. This one we're going to do broadsides. Let's see, what have we got over here? On this one, we will do darts. That one darts. Then that one darts. This one darts. And then on the sides, we'll do broadside again. Right. Now on the low walls, we want our dynamos as well, because this is the only trap we can use here, obviously. Once we're at the bottom here, for the ceilings, what we will do is get our ceiling electric fields in the side rooms. And then this one will do one. And for these two, we will do, if I can find my lower level ones, we will do gas traps to get the massive damage. On this one, we will do the tire drop. I said the right one that time, that's magical. For this one, you could potentially put a broadside here. It's not going to be as effective, obviously, as it would be ordinarily. For this one, I'll probably leave for that direction, but we can at least put a ceiling electric field there. Also, in these corners, we want them. But then, I think we will put one there. And then for the other ones, we will use the gas to do damage. This one's like covering, you know, this block, this block, this block, and up here. So it's worth putting a spreadable, you know, ceiling electric field. Then for the low walls, obviously dynamos, as we've done with the other areas. Potentially on this one, I don't think you'd need it, and I'm going to leave it just to avoid it triggering any smashes. You know, we don't want to upset them if they did make it this far, for whatever reason. Then for wall darts, we can get a few in. We can put it on that one, that's fine, although you shouldn't need it. Right, and then for this one, just a last, probably stun, I guess, for this one. Just to keep them in place if they are here for whatever reason. You can do whatever here. You could use a wall launcher to push them back. You could do broadside to get it doesn't really matter. You're really not going to get anything come to that point anyway. One thing to note up here. So we had this blocked, and then we had a ceiling here because we were going to damage stuff. But this wall right here leads to the trap tunnels. So what I've done is I've just put a cone and faced it towards there to stop them from breaking through. That's all the change there. Up here, I think we had spots where we want to change the traps. So I'm going to place the wall spikes on these with the healing. This one was a wall darts before if you were watching, but we've changed that. And then we can leave this as a wall darts. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. We don't have a trap on this side here. We'll change this one to wall darts. I think I just added that wall in quite recently, didn't I? And this one as well. And you can put a wall darts on the back side of that as well. And then I think that covers all the traps. So quite a brief one here. Although I think it did end up taking longer than I expected. But definitely a lot shorter than some of the other videos we've done. And now we're going to be doing the south direction, which is fairly simple, I say. So we did the east here, and we have sort of this trap set up here. And what we're going to do is just basically build off the back of this. So we built up to here, and what we can do is, I guess, sort of finish where we started. So if we get a low wall here, make this one a low wall. That's why we didn't place any traps on it, because we weren't fully certain what we were going to be doing with it yet. But with that built, then we can utilize this space as the enemies come up. If we place walls at the sides down here, and then all the way to the back, get a ceiling over this entire thing. And then what we can do is you could potentially do some more low wall there to get more of the what are they called, the wall dynamos. You probably want to block them from coming up this side like that, and then maybe just reinforce it with one of those, and you know, it'll just stop them from coming up that side, because we don't want them to actually get into this bit, right? Like, this leads past you know, our trap tunnels and towards the amplifier. So if we stop them from doing that, you could potentially put one there as well, just to, you know, really reinforce that we don't want them to go that way. Now for this little bit up here, they can obviously get on top of our trap tunnels, so we'll block this off. I'm just going to do it now as opposed to like at the end or anything, just because we're here and it makes sense to. That should be plenty enough to stop them from going up. You could add more if you need at the top if you do find any problems with it, but that should be plenty, as I say. And then if we continue these down at the bottom here and across here, We also want to block this off, so we'll do that now as well. So just simply by doing the same sort of thing all the way up here. And this one is very important because they can get like all the way over here. So you might want to do a bit of extra, you know, protection around this by doing this sort of design like that, and just make sure you wrap the whole thing up with a bow. It is Christmas after all. And then, you know, this is going to take care of anything unwanted in that regards. Now, for this area down here where we have built, it's kind of up to you how you want to go about this. Like, you can add another wall here, for example, to get some more broadside traps on. Any further out and you're going to be going into the actual spawn territory, so just be careful with that. What we can do in the middle here is get our low wall and then do a bit of extra damage with that. You could potentially do some here as well if you want, you know, that sort of thing. Get a ceiling zap. You could put a full wall at the back as well for some wall darts and do that. It's up to you, or you could close it off. I think I'm actually going to close it off just because we can put broadsides on and ping them back and forward, which I think will be more effective. If we actually close this up, whoops, if we actually put that like that and instead get rid of that, they still won't come up here because we obviously have this block here, and then if we put a floor there as well, they won't be able to get up. And you can even put a cone on top of that just to stop them. But what this allows us to do is make it so that we can put an extra low wall here, and then when they get to here, they'll come up. So that's what we're going to do with that. At this point, we're going to have a high ceiling over it, so don't worry about building that, you know, or worrying that we're not placing ceilings here at the moment. That's the reason why. Then over here, as I say, once you get to this point, it's kind of far out, so you can't really... It's far out, dude. You know, you can't really do too much because the floors will get broken and such. So there's not a whole lot you can do. You could probably get away with putting a wall there. Potentially, you might get Smashers break it, or just husks in general, because it's sort of blocking, you know, their route to get through. But it makes it so they have to go a bit further, so I think it is worth it. Up here, we have somewhat of a flank route, but the thing is, like, if we come all the way up here, we'll see that this is our other trap tunnel up here. So what I'm going to do is just leave it open. I don't think we need to block them coming up, because, you know, where they're going to go, just through the other trap tunnels, they're going to get damaged if they do that, so who cares? We'll just look that up while we're here. So yeah, this is all we can do down here. We will do the ceiling as well afterwards, don't worry about that. And then the other part of the trap tunnels is here. So because these are so close to each other and the spawn's so wide, we can't really block one of the directions off, because the ones that spawn here would just want to break through it. They wouldn't, you know, find another way around. So what we'll do is we'll just build full trap tunnels down. In fact, you don't need floors on this side. Well, you could do, actually. We can still do floors on that side. It's just, it gets a bit muddy here because we're going to be doing that direction. And, you know, things are going to get affected by it. But basically what we'll do at the top here is, you know, our classic low walls in the middle, full walls at the sides, like this. And then once we get here, we can... we don't need that wall. We can get those going. And yeah, I'll just sort of leave that bit for now, because we're not really too sure how that's going to affect with the other ones. But if we do the same sort of thing we usually do, and then in this bit, get the low walls in the middle, we can put ceilings on this bit lower down, and basically through the entire thing, like so. Because this is, you know, very muddy a ramp, it's going to be a bit difficult to deal with that. But we'll deal with that when we get to it. So don't worry about that. We can get another wall here for more damage, and then probably leave this one for now. Then once we're out here where the actual ramp is to come up, we'll do what we usually do. So build the walls out. Make sure we get a ceiling above it. As they come up, you could put, you know, a wall in the middle, get some traps on that. Because we're basically just going to have them in two different lanes here, right? So it doesn't really matter about, you know, separating them And then you can do a bit more at the bottom here. Again, you won't be able to do too much just because of the way that spawns work. Now, you might get some stuff spawn around here for this direction. So don't worry about building these walls. They won't try to break through it, or if they do, I mean, who cares, right? Like, we've got so many traps. But they will be more likely to, you know, go up our trap tunnels around here, or just die to the ceiling stuff. So we want to have these walls in because it means we can do broadside, which is the most efficient method of damage in a setup like this. So yeah, there, we'll keep the low ceiling for there, and then once we get out, we can do the raised one with the tire traps and such. So that should, in fact, we can leave these ones open. My apologies. These ones we can have over because we, you know, that's blocking above it anyway. But for these ones, we can leave it open because we will have a high ceiling above it. And then out here, you know, this again, it's too far out here to be able to do anything. You could potentially put one wall there, and you could trial putting some floors. I think these ones probably would break, so you know, it's up to you whether you want to place that or not. You place it at your own peril, and you know, see what happens when it comes to actually doing it. Put a wall there and one opposite. Get some broadsides going, but you know, we don't really need to do too much more once we've got here. I think that should be it for the trap tunnel builds. As far as flanking goes, they could potentially, you know, try and make their way all the way up here. We would probably block this on the cover this even on the other video, but I'll just cover it now, just making sure we stop them coming up here. There's a few other ways they can get up, I think, or is that it? There's a ramp over here. I mean, like, at this point, I don't think they're gonna, you know, come all the way out here and make the trip just to get up. Probably to cover the side as well, but we have enough structures to do it, so why not, eh? Just get your cones on top. You could do some ceiling stuff, but I really don't think anything's going to make it all the way over there just to try and get on top. It's going to be much easier. Yeah, it's going to be much easier for them to just go through the tunnels. So now when we're at this point, we can start getting the ceiling up. So I mean, obviously up here, if they did make it up here, they could walk on the tunnels. But these bits are already built anyway, so there's no harm in placing this stuff. Pretty much just covering the entire area with this, not gonna lie. So we want to do obviously maximum damage, so we want to make sure we cover the entire trap tunnels. Potentially want to put one just there, just in case, and then enemy drops down into that bit, you know, just to finish them off. Basically covering this entire thing with traps. This bit here and this bit here, enemies can't get up here. You know, there's no way for them to get up, so don't worry about building on it. You know, we're going to do that just to give the ceiling a bit more structural support, and then just go all the way back here. So at this point, enemies can get up here, so instead of blocking it off, what we can do is just not build up to it. At this point, we're so far back, you know, we don't need to do any more. Because there's not going to be too many spawn back here. We don't need to go that all out in ceiling traps. So we'll probably stop there. I mean, you can get over this bit, but this is sort of starting to cover the other direction, you know, for traps. So probably stop there, and then for this one, you could just do like another 2 and then stop. Again, this is the sort of thing where, like, if you have loads of material, go all this way out, but you don't need to. You could probably get away with not putting those down if you want. So please do feel free to just not build as far out as I have on this if you want to save your metal, your traps, that sort of thing. But I'm going to stop it there for now, and yeah, I'll level all this stuff up and get traps placed, and then I will see you shortly. Everything leveled up and you're ready to place your traps. Just one thing, I forgot to put a floor here. Don't know how I missed it. You're going to want a floor there. Just wanted to point that out before we got into placing the traps. I honestly don't know how I missed that. But yeah, these traps are sort of already, these trap tunnels even, are sort of already built for us because, you know, the last video, they sort of connect to them. But as we come through, we're going to place some floor spikes. On the side over here, we'll get some wall darts. On this side, we'll go broadside on this side. We could do it on both sides, actually, if you want. It's up to you. It's not overly important. For this one here, we can't really do anything in the ways of like broadside because it's just going to hit this cone and not really do too much. So we'll just do wall darts here, and then on this side we will get the wall dynamo. Oh, they've all reset to the higher level ones. Get the low level ones down there as well. Ceiling traps, we will go for the ceiling electric field at the sides. And then on these ones we will go for tire drop trap, so making sure we face the other way so that they knock the enemies back out of the tunnels. This one up here we can get a wall darts on, so if we put that there, then down here we can get broadside. Yep, just wanted to make sure there was a wall at this side as well. Can't do too much on that one, so we'll leave that. Down here, broadsides both sides. Here we have the two walls, so we can do it there as well. On these ones, we'll do wall darts because there's no walls opposite. So for the best possible damage, we'll do broadsides. Then dynamos on the low ones. Throughout this entire thing down here, we will get floor spikes, even not wall spikes. These are floors on all of these, including this one. On this one here, we'll actually go for a wall launcher. I'm just going to place a 130 just because I can't be bothered, Out here, we can get just some wall darts just to cover a bit of extra damage in this area. I feel like I should probably just cover... we've done everything in here, just the ceiling, but I'll cover that in its own right because we could just do that all in one big go. Over here, we can get some more broadside traps on these ones that are facing each other. These are facing each other just about enough. They are 3 blocks away. Any further and it wouldn't really be too useful, but they are close enough, so we'll do that. All the way up here, broadsides even... I can't put one on that one. Don't know why. Can't on that one either. Can't on that one, though. Strange. We'll just leave them without then. It's not really too important. On these two up here, we're going to do ceiling electric zaps, because these will affect the ones in here as well. Obviously, on the lower walls, we will get the dynamos on all 3 of these, both sides. And then once again on the floor, we will do wooden floor spikes. And then we can do a bit more as we come up. So wall darts on the back here to shoot everything as it comes up. We'll do broadsides on the walls at the sides. All the way through this, in fact, to here. In these two, we're going to want wall darts. Make sure we get everything that's going through. And on the floor, we will do a wooden floor spike to begin with, and then we will do a freeze. And then at the last ones, we will do some tar pits. Again, we'll cover this sort of thing in the next direction when we do the next video. Throughout this entire bit, we'll do ceiling electric field because it will apply across both. Just for this one at the end, though, we'll do tire. That's floor traps, not ceiling traps. We'll do tire on these two. Because it'll roll down the hill, affect everything down here, and also knock the enemies back a bit. On all of the low walls, you guessed it, we're placing wall dynamos on these bad boys. All the way down. That'll do it. Don't know where that accent came from. Yeah. I think the only thing we might want to cover is just the areas where the enemies could, potentially try flanks. On this one, I'm just going to get my all spikes. Because enemies might come up here and end up dropping in. So we've obviously got the ceilings to mitigate to that. But just in case, we will put the wall spikes to make sure the wall stays full health. On these ones all the way up here, probably not necessary because, like I say, it's so far away. They're not going to want to come up here. But just for paranoia alone, I'm just going to put wall spikes on them. But as I say, they're not going to get attacked, I don't think. Then all that's left to do trap-wise is the ceiling all the way down at the bottom. Now, for all of these, we're just going to put tire traps on it all. Literally just tire traps on all of these. So as I've done previously, I'll honestly just fast forward through this bit. But as I say, you're just putting tire traps on the ceilings. Anywhere where it would fall on an enemy. If it's over like a bit the way we've blocked, you don't need to place them. But as long as enemies would be able to stand there, we want to place them down. And direction isn't overly important, but as you get towards the trap tunnels, just make sure you're facing generally in the direction of your amplifier to make sure that you get that correct. Alright, so I placed them all. I ran out of the 77 halfway through. I don't know if you noticed in the speed up. This one right here. I had to break it because I put a gas trap down by accident. As I say, you don't need to go all the way out here. You can get rid of this last row on both ends if you really want to, if you want to save the metal traps and so on. This bit here, you could close up just to, stop any flingers from doing their thing. Probably best to just block it up, just in case. I don't think they'd be able to get an angle. But I mean, it's Save the World. Anything could happen. They could patch it and it could change. So, just to be on the safe side, I'd recommend just blocking it up, at least for peace of mind. I'll work on Amplifier D with the final direction to the west. So just to check on the map to show where this is. If your Amplifier D is on any of the other directions, please let me know in the comments, and I will work on getting a video for you to help you out with that. But we're working on the assumption that you have this direction similar to me. So for this one, they're going to be spawning in this area around here, which we haven't got the, sort of carpet layer over the top yet. But I will cover that once we've built the actual tunnels. But this one's really awkward because of this bit here. We can't block it off because enemies will try to come up, because this bit over here is so far away from this area, they won't go out of their way to go up there. So we're going to have to build some stuff here as well, which is going to be super awkward. But at least for this bit, we can build some trap tunnels up here and do our usual sort of, having a room to the side on each side in this bit and doing damage on both fronts. So we get the low walls here, through and through. And at this side, lovely stuff. And then for here, what we want to do is basically force them to come up this side of it. So they're going to want to come up this side as well. So what we'll do is bring them through here. Instead of utilizing that side, we'll do it like this. Now this is the ramp they will come up to come into the trap tunnels. So we can't put a wall here because that will block them. But we can do that and do it that way. So let's get some ceilings going here. Over this bit up here, we will get the ceilings like so. And then when we get to this point, we'll just do that to stop them from wanting to go up that side. They'll come across and come up here. We can even get a low wall to get some wall dynamo damage on. Through here, we'll get a low wall there. We can do a low wall there as well. And then for this stuff here, we want to break this. I'm probably not going to have space to get rid of it. But we built this, for our Amplifier C, I believe, the spawn over here. But we can get rid of this now. So you can get rid of all of it in your situation. If I break any more, I'm going to run out of space for my metal. So once I've upgraded the stuff, I'll get rid of the rest of it. But we're not going to be doing anything much else here anyway, apart from maybe some ceilings over it, just to cover the spawn with some damage. But as I say, we're not doing much else here. You could potentially put another wall there for another broadside, but we're not going to do much else in the ways of that, because these trap tunnels up here are going to do plenty enough damage. So, you don't have to worry too much about that. So this should do it for down here. Then, oh god, the awkward bit here. So, yeah, this is really awkward. So obviously husks can walk up this entire thing as we can. You can't put a floor here though, because as you see, if I try walk up, I can't without jumping. The husks cannot jump. So we'll have to get rid of this one so they can actually get up. But then here we can place floors. We'd actually need one there though. But what we're going to do here is our usual, extra bit of damage. Like so. And then we can have a ceiling as well. Want to get this ceiling going pretty much across this entire thing here anyway. So we'll just get that down At this side, we want to block them from getting in. This is our other trap tunnel. You know, we don't want them getting in there. So what we'll do is also place that, and we can place a floor as well. And then here we can just have... I'm going to place it full and then edit it down because we need some more full walls. But yeah, either side here we can be doing damage as they come up. I don't think one here would do any damage, so we'll just go like this. And probably put one there as well. We could potentially get some damage on those if we put wall darts, especially for smashers if they make it to this point. They will get damaged by that. Then once we get here... Oh, I have a floor there. I don't remember placing that, but we'll take it. Yeah, in this area down here... actually, we're not going to use that space. We'll build it here. So, you can go a few ways about it. What I'm going to do here is place the walls like that. For this bit, it doesn't matter too much if you're blocking it. I'd probably avoid it, though, just because if enemies do spawn here, we don't want them to break through those. So we can just let them come up here as little as I actually do want. In fact, no, we're going to block it. Screw it. I changed my mind. Sue me. Then through this bit, we can put low walls in the middles. Is that even the correct way of saying that? I don't know. And then full walls at the back. At this point, that's pretty much all we can do. You can get floors in this bit as well. At least all the way up to here. They'll still be able to walk up these and this one, like so. So we're good putting those there. I don't know why I didn't place one there. You could try go one more if you wanted. Maybe just there and put wall darts on it. And potentially some low walls. The thing is, I don't know if this stuff's going to stay once stuff is spawning. But just because of how awkward this is, we do want to try, get as much damage done in this area as possible. So what we can do is then extend this ceiling out all the way down. Pretty much covering this entire area, including that ramp, especially that ramp. Including this bit, we'll just cover down to there. We can put one over that just to cover, the enemies that might be trying to break in there. Cover down here and through this little tunnel. Can I place one? Thank you. Just get through that little gap. And probably stop there. We don't need any more than that. I don't think that's pretty severe at this point, right? We've got that bit covered from there. The only thing is this bit down here, like, you could potentially just block it off, if you're worried. Let's just, for completeness, why not, eh? Why not? Then, once we're over here, we have this sort of looking area. I mean, at this point, it's up to you how you want to go about this. There's a few ways you could do it, right? So we'll start over here with where these enemies will be dropping down. So we want to just make a small little area for them, and then they drop here. I don't think anything's going to be able to make it to this point, let's be honest. With how good our trap tunnels are when we build those. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Like, you could do an extra side room here, like we do in the other places, or you could just simply close it off. If we do close it off like that, we could place another wall, have broadside traps, however you want to go about it. Once they get to this area, it's kind of just a free-for-all to the amplifier. We probably want to avoid placing it on that one just because it's right next to the amplifier. So at this point, we can do shared damage on this one. So if I build like that, and like that, should anything get down here, we can have, damage there, and then as they go forward, more damage. But honestly, I don't think you need anything at this point. So, it's up to you if you want to build it or leave it as it is. At the moment, I think I'm going to leave it as it is. For this bit here, we can put another low wall to damage stuff. If you wanted instead, you could make it a full wall maybe. Put wall darts to shoot as stuff as it comes up. That's probably a bit more useful. And then I'd avoid placing anything on these ones because it'll, attract smashers to charge. So we'll probably stop there with the building. Again, like, it's Stonewood, you're probably not going to need anything here, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. At this point, I'm going to get rid of the floor because it's not doing anything there, right? And then I think we've built everything we'd need to. We've blocked spawns off already, you know, from all the other builds, so we don't really need to do anything there. And all we need to do really is put our damage in. We can just go inside the trap tunnels here to see what area is covered with, you know, ceiling traps. You could potentially, you know, extend this out a little bit if you are struggling, but this is the main bit where they're going to be spawning, and we've got plenty of traps there. So as I say, I wouldn't worry about it. You know, if you want to extend these out, you can do, but I'm just going to leave things how they are. I like it, and I'm going to leave it. So yeah, I'll level this stuff up. Alrighty then, now that we've got all this stuff leveled up, we are ready to put our traps in, and we'll start obviously at the amplifier because it makes sense to start where the key action's going to be, should anything, you know, go terribly wrong. So we're going to put tar pit traps up here because this is the last, you know, sort of line of defense. On these we can put our dynamos because they are low walls. Go ahead and put that there. I was worried that it wasn't letting me put it down. We could put wall darts if I can get my lower ones on pretty much all of these. This one here and the other side. One thing to note, I did put this floor here as edited that way just to stop stuff from wanting to try and break up through there. Speaking of there, we can put some wall darts there. It will probably hit smashers, but I don't think it would hit anything else. Another thing, I changed these to be low walls as well and put an extra wall there because we'll do broadsides across. So just pointing that out here so that we make sure it's covered. I'll finish the traps up here before I forget and never come back. So we'll do the ceiling electric field there to make sure it covers both, and just on all of these actually. Do the ceiling electric field to make sure we cover loads of enemies. At the sides here, we'll do ceiling electric field, and then in the middle, we will go back to our tire drop traps. So making sure we face towards where the enemies will be going. And then I'll cover the rest of the ceilings because they're just all pretty much going to be tire drop traps. So I'll cover that, you know, later on. Up here, we can actually get away with some broadside traps. So let's get our level 77s. Yeah, so when stuff gets to the top here, it'll trigger those and it'll bounce back and forward and it'll trickle down to the ones down here. You could probably put some on this one. I don't think it's going to do too much, but why not? Hey, we have loads of traps, we might as well. This one here is not facing anything, so we won't put it on that one. Those two we can. And then on all these low walls, make sure you're putting your dynamo traps on all possible sides. Why have you done that to me, Fortnite? Why do you do it? Yeah, make sure you get it on all the sides so that these 3 lanes all do massive damage. And then on the floor, we're going to do floor wooden spikes all the way up to deal damage as well as slow them. We want to deal as much damage in this area as we can because this is the most awkward part you will build in Stonewood. And I hated building it and coming up with the design and all that stuff. So hopefully you're grateful for that. But yeah, it looks good, I think. Up here, we could probably just get a little bit of dynamo damage on anything that gets up here. On this one, we can do a wall launcher. On the side, we can get the broadsides going to bounce across here, which is also what we can do up here and here. And then, yeah, we're going to leave that one clear because I don't think it's going to do too much. In this bit, we'll do the wooden floor spikes again. Cross these. Get your wooden... Wooden? No. Your wall dynamo traps on these low walls. If you can actually place them. I'm struggling, apparently. For the ceiling traps, on these ones at the very top, we're going to do ceiling electric field. We'll do it across this bit as well, just to there, I think, and then the rest will be tire. As we come up here, ceiling electric field. At the top here, we'll put a tire drop trap there, but a ceiling electric field at the side in that one to zap across. At the back, we'll go for wall darts to shoot everything as it comes through. On the side, we'll get the wall dynamo, and while we're here, we'll just place it all the way through. that's not leveled up. Cheeky. Get that now. This one here, you could go for broadside. I don't think it'd be too useful, so we're gonna do dynamo and leave it there. We could actually squeeze a stun trap here if we want, actually. Make use of the area. At the top, we will start with floor spikes even. Then we'll go for a freeze, and then finally we'll go for a tar pit, just so that if a smasher does make it up here, it can't get all the way to the end. It will stop here and then get huge damage. At the back walls, we want to go for wall darts, which I'm about to run out of. Do I have 106? I'll just craft some real quick. Alright, just made some more. Shouldn't be needing too many more, because once we've done this, we're in plankton, and we could probably use 106 there. So just got those there, and then at the top, we'll do ceiling electric field at the sides. We'll do it all the way down, actually, because it'll affect everything. I like that. You could go for gas in the middle. Either way is effective, so don't worry about ignoring me and just using that. Yeah, don't worry about that. And then another wall darts at the back. That should cover everything in here. Then when we drop down, we've already sorted this, so I think that covers everything, apart from the tire drop traps in the main tunnel. So I'll go ahead and place those, but as usual, I'll speed it up, just because you don't need to watch me placing them all one by one, taking ages. So you'll enjoy this at triple speed, or whatever it ends up being, and then I'll just come back to you at the end for a final word. It's like I'm telling you off or something. But yeah, there you go. All the ceilings placed. And we haven't even had a warning saying we're running out of structures yet. How efficient have we been? So if you follow my guides, obviously you're going to have plenty of structures left. This is with me having an AFK mat grinder, by the way. Just realised we've missed the dynamos here, so if you just get those placed down. But yeah, I actually have an AFK mat grinder. Right up here, you can see it. Plenty of structures there as well, and we still don't even have the warning yet, so super efficient. So be sure to subscribe for that, and like as well, because, you know, I've given you such efficient trap tunnels. So hey, there you go. That's your entire Stonewood build done, and as soon as I have 3 hours of my day spare to spend on endurance, I'm going to run this bad boy and show you just how well it works. These are far better than the trap tunnels I made back in 2019, and I got to wave 30 with those, so this is probably going to be even easier. But yeah, thank you so much for watching and sticking with me through the videos. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and use my code CAMIG, please. Thank you. It helps me so much to, you know, become full-time on YouTube. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next videos.